Right now at 7, we begin with breaking news. A plane made a hard landing, got stuck on the runway at RDU Airport. Here are some images from the scene. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley Rowe.
And I'm Dan Haggerty. Officials say 3 passengers were on board at the time. None were hurt, which is good, but the runway is closed at this hour, and we're hearing that it is impacting other flights, of course.
Brett Neese is following these developments at the WRAL Live Center. Brett, what do we know right now?
Yeah, we're trying to learn as much information about this crash as possible. You can see this video right here showing you some of the damage there to the front of that plane after it made that hard landing on the runway. We do know that those people that were on board, they are okay at this hour, but I want to give you this radio traffic, this first responder radio traffic from Broadcastify. It gives you a sense of the urgency after that crash landing happened.
Units responding from command. We only need 1 fire unit at this time. EMS, be advised, we have an aircraft that did do a nosedive crash. It's mild injury or mild issues to the aircraft. Patients are being assessed at this moment.
So you can hear from that audio that they are trying to learn what exactly happened when this plane went down. We also are looking at the delays that are coming in and out of RDU right now, about 86 delays. It's not clear if those delays are because of this plane crash. We do know that one of the runways is closed right now. We're going to continue to stay on top of this here in the WRAL Live Center.
Yeah, keep us posted, Brett. Thank you. Just last month, a UNC plane crashed at RDU. 2 were hurt in that crash. This is video from that scene. The NTSB report says the pilot was cleared to land that morning. The plane bounced on the runway. The pilot was severely injured. The passenger, a UNC doctor, suffered minor injuries. The pilot has not yet been interviewed because of his injuries.
Right now in Raleigh, pro-Palestinian protesters are vocalizing their support and echoing their continuing calls for a ceasefire there. Demonstrators are gathering downtown, protesting an Israeli airstrike that killed dozens of displaced Palestinians at a tent camp in Rafah.
This comes hours after 2 people were caught on camera vandalizing the NC State Bell Tower, leaving painted words like Rafah and Free Palestine. WRAL's Julian Grace is live in downtown Raleigh. Julian, this most recent protest in Moore Square started just moments ago.
Well, actually, it hasn't started just yet. It's expected to start at 7 o'clock, but I'm told by the organizers they could get started within about 10 minutes or so. But you can look behind me and you can see this crowd is getting bigger and bigger as they await to hear from the speakers that will be here today. Now, the speakers who will grab the mic, they are protesting Israel's attack on Gaza, specifically Rafah. Now, after speaking to the group, they plan to march through downtown after they get done speaking. Now, I've seen a couple of police officers stationed near Moore Square, but they are currently keeping a distance. Now, one pro-Palestinian protester says they have no plans to stop protesting, and they believe the protests are working. They say these demonstrations are forcing President Biden to take a stronger stance against Israel.
I think that it is critical in times like this that we take to the streets at every opportunity that we can to send our message. Biden hears us loud and clear. We know how he was talking. We know what rhetoric he was using at the beginning of this war. He's made almost a complete 360.
Okay, coming back out here live, I want to show you this right here. These are the police officers that I was telling you about just moments ago. These officers are stationed on every corner of Moore Square at this point, waiting for the protesters to leave this area and start marching through downtown Raleigh. Now, the big question is, what happens next? When is the next protest? We don't know that at this point, but I'm asking questions to find that out. Reporting in downtown Raleigh, Julian Grace, WRAL News.
All right, Julian, thank you.
And as far as the vandalism is concerned, police are still right now trying to figure out who these people are. You see in this time-lapse video vandalizing the base of the bell tower there. This incident was caught on the school's bell tower cameras. You can see those people in the dark clothing spray painting words like Free Palestine and Eyes on Rafah were sprayed around the base of the tower around 1:30 this morning. Crews have since removed that paint.
This is a sacred military memorial. So many of our students don't know that. They know what the bell tower looks like, they know where it is, but they cannot tell you why it's there.
At this time, the university says they are still working to identify the suspects involved in the incident.
Tonight, we are learning more about the driver accused in a deadly Memorial Day crash in Garner. Tyler and Susie Campbell were killed. Their 8-year-old son, Miles, critically injured. 25-year-old Jordan Porter is accused of being impaired and running a red light. WRAL's Sean Gallagher started digging into Porter's past and found this is not his first time finding trouble on the roads.
The debris remaining from this crash in Garner is a reminder of how devastating this crash has been for so many. But for Jordan Porter, this isn't the first crash he's been involved in where he's been behind the wheel. WRAL News found court documents showing Jordan Porter was driving during a 3-car crash in Johnston County in October of 2017. One of his passengers sued him for negligence, a case that was ultimately dismissed, but claims Porter was speeding, couldn't control the car, and passed someone improperly. This was the first blip we found on his driving record. Over the course of the last 9 years, Porter had nearly a dozen run-ins with law enforcement due to his driving. Of the 12 traffic violations Porter has had since 2015, 9 have been dismissed. Violations including hit and run, speeding, and reckless driving. He was found responsible for 2 charges, for not wearing a seatbelt and running a red light. One case is still pending for speeding, where he's accused of going 21 miles per hour over the limit last month.
The first thing that the courts and the district attorneys are looking at is whether the person has any prior problems.
Scott Holmes teaches law at North Carolina Central. He says dismissed cases can be something the court considers on future cases.
The judge would be asking, how did this happen that this guy could get this many charges and the matter not get convicted?
Wake County DA Lauren Freeman provided a statement about the decision not to charge on Porter's hit-and-run case in 2022, saying in part, the case was dismissed when the court refused to continue it and when the victim had not appeared. The majority of these traffic cases happened in Johnston County, so I reached out to District Attorney Susan Doyle, but she was not in the office today to provide comment. Sean Gallagher, WRAL News, Garner.
So incredibly sad what's happened to this family. Garner police do say they expect to file more charges against Porter in this case.
Happening right now, Durham County commissioners are meeting to talk about funding for public schools. This afternoon, up to 100 or so educators from the Durham Public Schools gathered to rally there in Durham Central Park. They marched to the meeting tonight. Organizers from Durham's Association of Educators are urging county commissioners to pass the school system's budget of more than $27 million. The proposal helps fund pay raises and extra support in classrooms. We'll let you know if a decision is made.
The Durham Public Schools Board of Education continues its search for a new superintendent. They're meeting again tomorrow morning to interview candidates. You can watch the interviews live on the board's YouTube page.
Still ahead, another Outer Banks home collapsing into the ocean. The danger this debris is causing on the beach and the efforts crews are making to clean it all up. Plus, how officials are working to make sure this doesn't happen again. And a local Confederate monument is gone weeks after people gathered to protest against it. The plans for it moving forward coming up. Kat?
I'm Aaron Thomas on the WRAL Breaking News Tracker live here at RDU International Airport for reports of a emergency landing that took place involving a small plane. We'll go ahead and get right to the scene here. We see that it is still active here on Terminal 1. At this runway, we still have a presence of emergency vehicles as well as emergency responders who are evaluating 4 people on board. We're told that there was a pilot and 3 passengers on board of this small plane. This plane actually experienced it had faulty nose gear. Everyone appears to be okay, no injuries or any fatalities to report. We're still working on exactly where this plane was coming from and working on the identities of the people on board. Keep in mind, this particular incident actually comes a month after another small plane bounced off the runway before landing in the grass last month. As a result, there was a UNC doctor that was injured on board. Want to send things over to Brett Neese, who's in the WRAL Live Center. Brett, what are delays, if any, from this particular emergency incident?
Yeah, Aaron, we're taking a look at the delay board at RDU, but we also do know of at least one plane that had to be diverted because of this incident. A Delta Airlines plane. It was coming in from Austin, Texas. We see it right here. It's coming from Austin, Texas. It was supposed to land at 6:37 at RDU. Instead, it was diverted over to Greensboro and landed at 6:47. So that's a plane full of passengers that are trying to get back to RDU. We're going to refresh the FlightAware page here. 96 is the current total delays across all of RDU. We're going to learn exactly how many of those 96 are due to this crash that happened just a short while ago. Within the past 10 minutes, that number did jump by at least 10 delays, could continue to go up. We're going to continue to monitor this here in the WRAL Live Center, and of course we have Aaron Thomas live at the scene as well.
Yeah, that number jumped quickly. All right, Brett, thanks. Part of Wade Avenue will be closed tonight and tomorrow night as part of the ongoing work to improve I-440. The eastbound side of the road will be closed between Blue Ridge Road and Ridge Road from 10:30 tonight until 5 tomorrow morning. That's the side of the road heading toward downtown Raleigh. The closure will also be in place from 10:30 tomorrow night until 5 Thursday morning. Crews will be working on I-440's bridge over Wade Avenue. You can use Hillsborough Street as a detour.
A monument outside of the Wilson County Courthouse is now gone. You might remember it was just weeks ago that groups of protesters there asked for the removal due to the connection to the Confederacy. Wilson County announced its decision to remove the monument last week after months of discussion. Most people we spoke with were happy to see it go, but one person we spoke with says it's worthy of display due to its history. Another person offered this suggestion.
It should be like in a museum or something, that's the only place that I could see, because in a museum, people could come by and see and they can understand the history of it, but just being out in public, I don't think that's a good idea.
A spokesperson for the county tells us a state law requires its preservation, and for now it will sit in storage, but they did not say if they have any plans to relocate it.
The state auditor's office revealed Fayetteville State University paid a little more than $659,000 on things they shouldn't have been. This audit was done between 2022 and 2023. $464,000 was paid to consultants, individuals, or employees. More than 80 grand on travel purchases that shouldn't have been made, including a first-class ticket to New York City for university business. The audit also revealed nearly $170,000 were paid to businesses owned by employees who hadn't disclosed they owned those businesses while they were working at the university. FSU calls the findings egregious and disturbing. The state auditor's office will be sending its findings to the State Bureau of Investigation.
A new report revealed this morning that the U.S. consumers are feeling a bit more confident when it comes to the economy. The Consumer Confidence Index shows slight improvements in consumers' confidence about the job market, as well as their financial outlook. NC State economist Mike Walden says although there have been some improvements after months of decline, he says not to get too excited about the economy just yet. He describes our economy heading in what he calls a choppy direction. Here's his definition of that description.
And by that, I mean that the job market will not be as robust. Wage growth will not be as robust. We won't have a depression. We don't have a recession, of course, but I think that's going to present some challenges for particular businesses.
And again, just because people are feeling slightly better doesn't mean they feel great about it. Walden also noted that people are still generally uneasy about the economy. Yes, there are more people borrowing, but Walden says that they are realizing that that strategy is not a long-term solution for their spending, and that's why some people we've even seen cut back on spending for leisure activities.
House prices reached another record high in March. Data released recently by the Federal Housing Finance Agency shows the housing market's continued affordability crisis. Prices rose by 6.6% across the United States since last March. It's the sixth time the index has reached a new record high over the past year. Home prices in North Carolina were up 5.79% from last year. The Raleigh-Cary area saw a nearly 6% increase in prices from March of 2023. Well, on the bright side, hundreds of jobs are coming to North Carolina. Ross Stores announced it will build a distribution center in Randolph County, just south of Greensboro. It's a $450 million investment that will create 850 jobs. The state agreed to provide a $7.5 million incentives package to secure that project.
The crews are cleaning up along the Outer Banks after another house collapsed into the ocean. Time and time again, we've seen this. It's still amazing to watch it happen, though. This is some new video from the scene from above, obviously. This is Ocean Drive there in Rodanthe. From the ground, we get another look. Cape Hatteras National Seashore officials there say the house likely collapsed around 2:30 this morning. No one was inside. No one's been living in these houses. but about a mile stretch of beach is closed because of it, with debris scattered on the sand and floating in the water. This is the 6th house to come down in that Rodanthe area over the past 4 years. Environmental experts say the threat to homes in Rodanthe is only going to increase.
Yeah, it's definitely seems to be that it's occurring now, at a faster rate.
Dare County has been trying to get funding for beach renourishment right there in Rodanthe, or homeowner assistance at least, to move some threatened structures back, but have been unsuccessful so far. Tomorrow morning, volunteers are invited to assist in cleanup efforts from 8 until 11:30 a.m. Volunteers can meet at the Rodanthe Pier, and officials encourage thick-soled footwear to avoid any nails that may have washed up.
What a mess. So let's look out at Beaufort here. Cloudy skies overhead, but largely not bad. And boy, it was just beautiful out today. Meteorologist Kat Campbell enjoying a nice sunny view where you are. Sanford?
Yes, Sanford looks bright, beautiful. I mean, not a cloud in the sky today. It's been just a stunning day outside. It's been hot though. High temperatures reached the upper 80s in the Triangle, 90 in Fayetteville today. And we've got a stretch of absolutely beautiful weather ahead this week. 82 degrees right now in Sanford. We've had a light northwest wind, not picking up on that right now, but it's that northwest wind that's helping to push in some of that less humid air, and it's also a little less hot behind this front. That wind direction shift definitely matters. Still a few isolated showers and storms at the North Carolina coast, closer to where the cold front has stalled. But behind the front, it's already feeling a bit better today. Dew points dropped into the 50s at times, and that means it feels a bit less humid. Tomorrow, a little bit less hot, a little bit less humid.
We continue following breaking news at RDU. A plane made a hard landing there. 4 people were on board. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. One of the runways is closed right now as they work to tow this plane away. There are a lot of delays, what appears to be as a result of this. We will continue following this story during our late news at 10 on Fox 50 and 11 on WRAL.
It looks like they are making a little progress. The nose had been into the ground up until this point. Looks like they got the front landing gear up, so hopefully they can get it off the runway here pretty soon. A special program in Southeast Raleigh's YMCA is called SAGE.
It stands for Saving Adolescent Girls Everywhere. The program helps teen girls discover a positive future by setting goals and building wholesome friendships. The nonprofit program promotes professional development, social awareness, and academic success. Founder Tatiana Cooper learned from negative influences she experienced when she lived in Chicago.
So I wanted to give something back to the community that I felt, I looked at myself like, what would I want as a younger girl? And so that just motivated me to help the girls that I saw myself in.
The 4-year program is for high school girls ages 13 to 18 in the Raleigh area. There'll be a lot of great mentorship. The Northern Wake Senior Center is celebrating Older Americans Month and National Senior Health and Fitness Day tomorrow.
They're hosting a Recess Reimagined adult playground event. All ages are welcome, but the focus is some free events and health screenings for people and their well-being for adults 55 and older. There will be fitness demonstrations, art projects, and more throughout the day. If you are attending, you are encouraged to call Northern Wake Senior Center to RSVP. The Arts Council of Fayetteville-Cumberland County is celebrating its 50th anniversary next week.
Oh, there's stuff going on all over the place. Yeah. They're hosting an event called 50 Years of Color. It'll feature live performances and some refreshments. It's happening at the Cape Fear Botanical Garden next Thursday, June 6th. Tickets on sale now. They start at $50. The Arts Council is the primary steward of public and private funding for arts, cultural, and history activities in the Cape Fear region. Nice. It is that time of year where you have to watch out for snakes and spiders in hidden spaces as well as plain sight.
Yeah, I saw there was a big spider in my garage the other day.
Really?
He didn't make it. Deputies near our coast found something surprising in someone's shed this weekend. Not a snake, not a spider, a gator. Sergeant Evans there wrangled this little guy in Brunswick County. The sheriff's office says the gator wasn't causing any trouble. He's not all that big. I wouldn't want to grab him, but he had to be moved to a safer location. They nicknamed the gator, they nicknamed him Al, of course. Al the gator.
Let's get back to your spider in your garage.
Yeah.
Give us a play-by-play. How'd it go?
I saw it. I screamed and ran. I hid. I composed myself, and I came back and I told my wife to kill it. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Good night.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.